because it ain't nothing to say.
This is true.
What's happening, YouTube? We're back again for another review that's probably going to be short, sweet, and very funny because when the writers don't give enough material, we have to make up material. And nobody does that better than me, Larry, and the homegirl, the second lady of reviewing, the homie Moochella. How you feeling?
Fine. Good evening. I'm
Okay, I
in the
see.
middle.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We got you in that middle. That means we're gonna be popping you around a little bit tonight, Moochella.
Yeah,
Just
I
pop,
know.
pop,
I'm
pop,
just
pop,
gonna
pop.
be really getting a double dose of the verbal combat tonight.
Hey, you said you like that chocolate. Hey, don't get no more chocolatier than us.
Oh
Oh
man,
Big Larry, how you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling all right, man. Doing my thing.
Okay.
I feel like I can just say this. The episode was weak. Thank you very much. Good night.
Literally, he could say that. But we're gonna break it down. We're gonna at least give y'all 20 minutes. We're gonna at least give y'all 20. At the very least,
Yeah.
20. So let me shout out the people in the building: Monique, Support Gaming, Will. Nita won't make it tonight. I know y'all love her. She's a superstar at this channel. But she didn't get a chance to see the show, and she ain't missed nothing. Honestly, she ain't missed nothing.
I meant to tell her that too. Like, you didn't miss
Yeah.
anything.
Y'all, it's really to the point where I almost want to just say scrap it, but I mean we almost threw it, so we might as well see it out. But damn, when is Godfather Harlem gonna come back on?
August. We have to
Well, what
all
we
the
could
way,
do is just
all
go
the
ahead
way
and
to
talk about.
August. But before that, we got
Canaan,
Raising Canaan.
Raising
Mhm.
Canaan, and something don't
That starts in like
Hightown.
2 weeks, right?
Yeah, Hightown
Hightown
come
don't
back
come on
on.
until November. I think P Valley comes on.
When
They
do P
probably
Valley?
pushed the schedule back because of COVID. The production probably got all mixed up because Hightown's a summer show.
It's supposed to be a summer show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, we'll take it as they come. It's all good. It's all good. What's up, Gina? How you doing in the building? We glad to have you. Without further ado, everybody, let's go ahead and dive on into it. I'll give you guys basically this clip I'm about to show y'all, minus Rosie O'Donnell, is the whole damn episode in 30 seconds.
How is Nancy? Hilarious as always. Apparently, nothing is wrong with me. Oh, yeah, she said that to me before.
She's never said that to me.
Me either.
I always said you two were the craziest. Everyone, I need your attention. I feel.
Oh.
Maybe you haven't noticed. This divorce has been challenging for me, and I'm flailing a little. This has been a lot harder than I expected, and I was so mad at Jason for so long, and now that the mad is wearing off, I'm scared of being alone forever.
Ladies and gentlemen, now I know y'all get on Larry about some of his verbiage with these women, but we all basically said from the beginning that chick behaved the way she behaved because there's some insecurity. And she just told y'all her insecurity. This whole episode was each one of the girls sitting on the couch with Nancy, played by Rosie O'Donnell, telling them all the things we should have learned prior to this episode. We should have learned these things before now, but you know what? Hey, they wanted to wait till now to do it. So each girl goes to me not knowing that everybody is seeing Nancy. And they all come together to figure out what their issues are. They do the little backstory. That brings us to here. So, Nutella, you get first deal. So, the first person that was sitting on the couch was Ella. Break down what Ella had to say, and did it make you feel a little bit more ingratiated to the character?
I understood her insecurities because she had a failed with her failed experience with her book, and but she was real cocky in the beginning before the book came out because she thought she was going to be this dope writer. But being that she got into a relationship, her whole outlook on life changed.
Okay. I can get
She
with
was
that.
no longer like the single girl power girl. She was a woman in a relationship.
Now, I will say this before I give it to you, Larry, for your opening rebuttal. if you guys really wanted to see a real therapist in an acting role, she played the hell out the therapist. This is the
Yes,
kind
she
of therapist.
did.
This is the kind of therapist we needed on The Shy last
Yeah.
night.
Yes.
So take the wheel, Larry. What'd you think about this opening salvo?
Well, first of all, let me just say this about the overall episode itself, is that I just felt that it was really weak and lazy writing and simplistic. And part of it was is that all they did throughout this whole episode is reiterate what we already knew about these ladies. They gave us the what again, but they never gave us the why. It was like you have this perfect opportunity where you're in a therapist's office, you have brought them in there to talk about themselves and their issues, and you never give us the why, you just reiterate the what. Like, I don't even understand how this episode got past the executives. I don't know how they read this and said, yeah, go ahead, this is a green light on this one. I don't know how they didn't say no. Go back and rewrite this. This is trash. But the first thing with Ella, one of the things that bothers me about this episode is they sort of subtly imply, or not so subtly, that having a man and falling in love destroys you as a professional woman. Because that's what they're basically saying was like, oh, you were doing great before, and then you met this guy and you got digmatized and you no longer had a voice. You no longer had a voice that people wanted to hear because you were happy. And so the only way that you as a successful Black female professional can be successful is if you're miserable. If you're unhappy and you're doing this whole sort of sexploration stuff, when the reality of it is the only reason why she was doing this sexploration stuff is because she didn't have a man. And when she met some dude she was into, she was happy and content, and she didn't do all that other stuff. And so her book didn't deliver on what it had promised because, well, she didn't want it anymore. She found what she was looking for. And they're making it out to sound as like, if you get what you're looking for, if you want a man and you want to be happy, that will destroy your relationship. That will destroy your professional career, because then no one will want to hear what you have to say. Your voice will be meaningless. I don't like that. I don't like that. They're trying. Some people, it may have been sort of subtle and not subtle, but that was the message that I think they were really giving. And I think that was a real hideous message to send out to young women.
Moochie, you're a woman on this panel. Did you get any of that message?
I did get that. It seems like basically because she wasn't in a relationship, she was more focused on her career. And because now that she was with somebody and happy, the book got bad reviews and she got dropped from her publishing. And it's kind of messed up the way they're I'm torn between it, because I like for a woman to have a career, but I think they're projecting the wrong message.
Yeah, if I don't, I'm going to assume through rational thinking that this is kind of what they was trying to portray. But if they was trying to portray something different from that, it didn't stick at home. Because, I mean, I don't know how many times me and Larry have to say this. We're both married to women of high status, if that's what you want to call it in society. And neither one of them felt stifled by being married. And now my wife by having a kid and being married. She don't feel stifled by nothing. As a matter of fact, she looks at love as being something that helps uplift her overall career because she's happy. And
Right.
What I'm trying to figure out here, what happened with Ella was, did what happened to her was that the allure of being single and out on the street, which is what she gave in the book, the same way rappers give this allure that they call them women, bees, and hoes and all that, was that something going on in the people that was supposed to be buying the book? I'm not asking y'all. I'm just saying, is that the way the writer's trying to portray it? And then when she gets with a man and she's happy, nobody wants her book because she's with a man and she's happy. She can't relate to being out on the street giving it up. Do y'all get that's what the writers were trying to portray?
That's what Sandy's view was.
Yeah, Sunday she even said it out loud. She was just like, she was like, you've been digmatized for the last 2 years and you basically lost your voice. You didn't deliver on this sort of sexploration thing that they called it. You didn't deliver on that promise that you had, I guess, when she was doing her blog and she was talking about this is what my book's going to be about, and then you didn't give that. Well, at some point, her publisher, when they were reading that book and they had the editors going over it, they should have simply said, because no one just unless you're Tom Clancy or Lisa Gardner or somebody, you're not just dropping off a book and saying, here it is, take it. There's editors, and they probably don't even do that. There's people that are reading that book as you go. Sometimes they'll read it when it's done, and then they'll send it back and say, this needs to be revised, or this doesn't make sense, or whatever. It's a process, and I can't imagine that her editors didn't say, this is not really delivering on what you promised, and maybe you need to change the focus of the book. Because it sounds to me like you found love, and that's okay, but you need to reach a different audience if that's the case. I can't imagine that they would have put their time and money and effort into marketing this woman and her book, and they're going to let it fail because they didn't go ahead and direct her properly. Okay. I just don't like that message that they're sending. It's like, you meet a man, he's a good guy, and if you do, he's gonna ruin your career. Even if he's a good guy and he does everything right, him doing everything right will ruin your career because it will cause him to make you fall in love and you lose focus and for you to lose your core audience.
Barb seemed like she knew the book was gonna fail.
She did.
When she came to the book signing.
She did.
That was the best part of this episode, was her little input, and then when she left,
honestly,
she was offering her a lot of money to
look, at the end of the day, Erica Alexander has been the constant best part of this whole series. In all honesty,
exactly.
the more you keep her in something, the better this thing goes. And
it's funny what she said, Lamont, when she was saying, when what's her name said, oh, well, a 12-year-old girl in Afghanistan wrote a book, and she said, yeah, because she lived in a war-torn area and was trafficked and all this other stuff. And I was like, yeah, if you live in your 12 short years, you live the life of what most people don't even experience in 60, 70 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can write a memoir and people will be interested in your first 12 years, because God knows what's going to happen to the next 12 or the 12 after that. But when you're this beautiful, educated woman that lives this highfalutin New York City life, are there people that want to hear your story? Some of them, but you can't put yourself on the same, on the same level as a 12-year-old that's lived in a war-torn country as far as having actual stories to tell that people are going to want to hear in the masses. There's going to be a core audience for her, and she stepped out of her core audience the moment she fell in love, apparently, because I guess her core audience was a bunch of bitter ass single women who can't find a man.
Well, I'm coming to you for this one, Larry. Let's break down the interaction between Whitney and Nancy. And so we get a chance to dig into Whitney's backstory. We get a chance to learn why Whitney is the way she is, and we come to find out she had issues from her friends with colorism. And friends picking on her, saying that she looks like a model, blah, blah, blah. And Whitney kind of she's got a little chip on her shoulder about that. Larry, break down the dichotomy of Whitney.
Yeah, I understand her perspective and her friends. Like, on one end, I understand where she's up there. She's not trying to be the standout because she already knows her friends have some sort of feelings about her, because all the boys are looking at her now, because she's this tall, light-skinned, long-haired chick, which a lot of people like, because colorism is real in this country and in other countries as well. And she's trying to be sensitive with her friends about that. But at the same time, her friends are like, I don't need your pity. You don't need to feel sorry for me and try and dress down and try and dull your shine so that we can sparkle. We don't need that.
Yeah, I was sitting there, Larry, what the hell is this? She looked like Robin from Batman. All you got to do is put a mask on her face.
I was thinking she looked like a Vato.
That's all you got to do.
Like a Vato from East LA with the button up there.
I know. All that was missing was your Holmes.
Bro, you just throw a black mask on her face. She can go out as on a crime crusade. That's all you got to do. Slap that mask on her face.
What's interesting whenever I've seen Amber Stevens in any show, like from when I think the first time I saw her was in Greek, like 10 years ago or something. That TV show used to come on like ABC Family or something. I've always thought she was cute. I never saw her as like sexy or for some reason when she was in that therapist office, she was so sexy. It was I don't know if it was just her like compulsiveness to work and this whole thing of constantly taking notes and just being super focused on something about her was so sexy in that moment. Normally I just see her as cute, but this was like I still think they failed miserably with her character in the therapist office about talking about her issues. They just reiterated what we already know. We know she likes to please everyone. I mean, we know there's color issues. I mean, you have two friends, two light skinned, two dark skinned. We know there's going to be some conversations that happen. You know, it seems like Sandy May came a little bit later in college because those are her two friends from when they were younger. Sandy wasn't there, so I'm assuming she came a little bit later. But I mean, they gave us the what again? They didn't give us the why. And so even though I left her scenes liking her a little bit more than I did before, I mean, they still didn't give us any more info about her.
Muchella, what'd you think about Whitney and her backstory?
Well,
And Larry, I'll say this, Larry. She looked all right. She looked all right.
What we do know about Whitney, she's a perfectionist.
It was something about her. It's just something about the way she in that scene. I don't know. It wasn't the way she looks, because she always looks good. You know. I don't know. Go ahead.
Okay. What we do know about her, she's a perfectionist. So to me, she's a perfectionist, and I don't know, maybe an overachiever.
I would agree with that.
They did bring up the cheating. She's like, I don't think she told her that she should tell him no.
No, she didn't. She said she told her not to do it.
Yeah. So why? I sort of come in attractions for the next thing, which hopefully we'll talk about. But I don't know. She discussed how guilty she feels about that. She discussed again about Renee wanting that split, and each one of them talked about Renee and the way she dresses.
Yeah.
And y'all had the nerve to get on me and Larry when we made fun of the way she dressed. Now, some of them outfits I said I like. They look good on her. I don't want you going everywhere every single day like that. And so now, Mooch, I guess I'll swing to you because
hold on. Before you move on, Lamont, I just want to say about what's her name? What's Amber Stevens' character's name again?
Whitney.
This is the thing I think about Whitney. Whitney's about to get married, right? She's about to marry a dude who's from a traditional Nigerian family. She seems like she's pretty traditional herself. They're probably going to want to have kids, and relatively quickly, because I think they're all around 32, 33, somewhere around there. And so I'm thinking to myself, if she's wanting to please everyone and feels guilty about being selfish, I don't know how she's going to function when she has kids, because she is a corporate executive right now. She wants to continue to thrive in her career, and if she gets married and has kids, she's going to feel terrible when she's up there having to work, 12, 14 hours a day on some big project that she's a lead on, or when her kids are there and she's like, how do I manage my career and my kids? Or when her husband wants some affection, except he's up there at work because he's a doctor, and so he's putting in long hours, and he comes home and he's like, I just want to be with my wife, except now they have kids, and she's like, how do I make time for my kids and my husband and my job? That woman's gonna stress out and end up on anxiety pills.
She's gonna have to find a way to make it work. Women are dealing with that right now as we speak, Larry, and they're making it work.
I mean, you see how bad she's going, how bad she's dealing with just her wedding. Can you imagine her having to try and deal with her kids too?
Oh, I can imagine it, but you know what? At the very least, she's in counseling. At the very least, she's willing to do that, and she seems receptive of this therapist. Who the therapist did what a therapist is supposed to do. This therapist made everybody question their behaviors and their decisions before they start talking about what led to them going off the beaten path, which is what we should have got last night. But I digress. I don't want to keep going there. I digress. Moochie, the next person that was in the couch, and we should have had Ayana or somebody that helped with the couch. That would have made it in. But this there, Nancy did good. Your girl Renee, and me and Larry been picking on this chick because she's a beautiful woman. I like her fashion most of the time. But we knew, Muchella, we knew that all that female bravado was because she had an insecurity. And you got to some of the bottom, some of it, but not all of it. Talk about the issues with Renee.
She has issues, insecurity issues, and she's afraid of being alone. She's afraid of being alone. I think that's why she took so long to get out of that relationship with her husband, because she's afraid of being alone. And but she was funny last night when they showed her walking to the church and the old ladies looked at her.
Right, and them green boots. I'm like, girl.
And they playing that music. These boots are made for walking.
Lord have mercy. And did you see how she was walking? And then she had the nerve to have on a Picasso hat with it.
She had that walk, man.
Now she can walk her butt off now. Larry, what do you think about Renee and her situation?
You know, I was a little disappointed again in this one because I was disappointed in all of them, but I was really hoping the writers were going to give us some why on her so that I could like her again, because this woman is so beautiful and I want to like her. Something about it, like she's sexy as hell. So I want to like her. There's something about her that makes me want to like her until she opens her mouth, and then I'm just like, ugh, you know. And but like I was hoping they would have given. I was hoping they were going to give us some backstory on her that would make me say, okay, I get it now. I understand why she's crazy. Because I feel like to be with a woman like her, you can't just meet her and experience all that. You have to get to know her to like her, because she seems like a bona fide asshole.
Now she's Harlem. That's how some of them Harlem girls be.
Yeah, but when people act like that, is like I said, it's usually because they're overcompensating for something. There's an insecurity.
Yeah, they're damaged inside. They're trying to hide. They're trying to hide their true selves with all the shine and shimmer. You know.
Well, I figured we found that out at the end when she said that she's wailing right now.
Yeah, we did find that out.
When she said that, I feel like we got a little glimpse. They gave us a little peek.
Yeah, a little peek.
I feel like we knew that already. We were able to see that from the first episodes. We didn't need her to be in a therapist's office and then come out and say, I feel and I'm struggling with my divorce. Of course you are. Why wouldn't you be? You know? We saw that when she was up there talking about going through a divorce, and then she brings her husband home food and stuff like I'm telling you I want a divorce and sending you crazy messages, and then I come home with food and smiling and laughing like nothing's wrong and everything's okay in the house. It's like we see that she's struggling with this. You know,
that was her usual thing.
And she needs to stick with the therapist for sure, because
but keep in mind the therapist also what's the therapist's name again?
Nancy
also let her know that she's the one that's coming the least.
Right. Yep.
But see, here's the thing: like they had the perfect opportunity to tell us more about her. Like they said, and like they said, oh, she's been dressing like that ever since her mom or whoever let her start dressing herself in the 4th grade. It was like, okay, there's the perfect opportunity to go back and find out why her mom basically gave her that sort of freedom in the 4th grade. Did her mom did her dad leave? Did her dad die? Did her mom all of a sudden have to work 2-3 jobs and she didn't have time to dress this girl, so she gave her the freedom to dress however she wanted? What was the deal? Give us some story behind it so we can understand and empathize, sympathize, or just understand. Instead, they gave us nothing. I left these therapy sessions with Renee liking her less. And I was like, I didn't want to like her less.
I liked her a little more because at the very end,
I did too.
She took the therapist's advice. She communicated with the girls because, like the therapist told her, and I know a lot of chicks that have these type of insecurities, and they expect your ass to be a damn mind reader. They have a set box of stuff that if you don't understand to do, then you the problem. So, for example, if you don't open my door, or you don't get me flowers on XYZ day, all this bullshit because they've got insecurities on it. If you don't do that, but you're a perfectly good human being, there's something wrong with you. When you don't know that they have these, it'd be nice if you got me flowers. It'd be nice if you opened my door. Don't nobody know that. So the fact that she got up, which was big for her, and said, I have something to say, and she told the girls, look, this is what's going on with me. I think that's a step in the right direction for Renee.
So here's the problem I have with that. Renee is selfish. Renee is selfish beyond selfish. Their whole thing, even her therapist was saying, why do you need this? And the last thing, this was the reason why I didn't like the therapist's advice with Renee, because she's so selfish. The last thing she needed to do was give her an I exercise. I feel, this. Everything about Renee is about her, about how she feels. I'm like,
this is true. I get what you're saying, because when she cut off, remember when Whitney was telling her story and she went and she was supposed to be consoling Whitney and she went into all of her problems.
And Whitney even called her on it.
Yeah.
She said you were drifting into you territory or something.
I get what you're saying. That's why I wanted to let you know.
I feel you on that, but at the very least, she made herself vulnerable. I mean, yeah, it's still an I, but this time, instead of I receiving something, I made myself vulnerable. So that's a step in the right direction for me. Because she could have just kept playing these mind games, saying I, and not giving these people something to understand why she's feeling like me, and all this stuff. But she did put herself out there. So I'm giving her an A for a step in the right direction. But if she wanted to get the full exam done and in time, you're going to have to give me an apple with that exam. And right now, all I got is an I. That's all I got. All right, Larry, I'm going to come to you for Sunday. Oh, Sunday got on the couch. And, Nancy has some things she wanted Sunday to break down too. Larry, talk about Sunday and her issues.
Sundays might have been the worst, the most poorly written, lack of information one they had of all of them. This was terrible. We learned nothing of Sunday. Nothing. I was like, there was nothing that they told us in her sessions that we did not already know. Not a damn thing. I have nothing to say about this. They gave us absolutely nothing new. It was horrible. This was by far the worst one. And writers, I know sometimes these writers and the people that make these things, I know sometimes they go online and they watch these shows and they act like they don't. I know sometimes they do. If you are watching, why did you do this? Why did you just give us a reiteration of what we already know? Why didn't you actually tell us the why?
And ladies and gentlemen, if you are a writer or producer or whatever for the show, and you would like to come up here to fill us in on the things we're missing, because we do have an audience of over 125,000 that watch these channels and my channel, please go to Lamont Tyson Life Games on IG, send me a message, and we would love to have you on the show so that we can ask you some detailed questions about what you wanted the audience to understand for your character. Moochella, what do you think about Sunday? Do you feel like it was a vague waste of energy in bringing her into the therapist room?
It was everything that she discussed with everybody else.
Yeah.
About the professor.
Mm-hmm.
Because that professor really rubbed her the wrong way. And I think she deliberately got under her skin because she wants the professor. That's my opinion. Now I feel like we don't know her. And how can I say? Like, I agree with you with this. This therapist is better than what we had going on with the Shy.
Oh, by far.
Even though we don't know these characters like we want to, we got a little bit more information out of them with the flashbacks.
Well, let me ask you this. Could it be that Sunday's therapy session was so weak because we already feel grounded with the character? We already feel like we know where that character is coming from. She seems to be like the most level-headed of all of them. So maybe that's why her therapy session didn't go as well as we would have had expected, because we know where she's coming from.
Right, and out of all of them, she expresses herself the most.
That's what I'm
Right, but
saying.
but if that's the case, let's say that it's the case. What a perfect opportunity to dislodge her from that. What a perfect opportunity to take her out of that and shake up that character and say, I'm not the perfect person that you know that's oh so open and everything else. What a perfect time to expose her insecurities and make us say, oh snap, I didn't see that coming. I didn't realize this was happening to her or she felt this way or that way. I mean, they just there's so much they could have done. I mean, literally took these four women and put them in a therapy office where you have the perfect opportunity to draw out any character, flaw or any character exploration you wanted to, and they just didn't go there. They just talked about stuff that we already knew, and she was by far the worst. They could have done anything with Sunday, anything. They could have made it. They could have given us something where her father had left at a young age and she has some sort of daddy issues and that's why she went for this professor. It could have been that she hates kids except somehow she finds herself loving the professor's daughter. It could have been that it could have been anything. They could have gone through so many different scenarios that would have made us feel like we got to know her a little bit better. And with all of them, I feel like we left this episode not feeling like I don't feel like I knew any of them any better at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the last clip. Moochie, we'll start it with you. They have a round table. We realize that they all going to the same therapist. Well, we kind of knew that based on the therapist herself. And Ella comes in there and says that the therapist basically complimented everybody except for Renee and Whitney of the four. And this is when Renee breaks down and gives her little speech, and they pretty much go off with these girls getting drunk in the club again, which is something me and Larry complain about. So Moochella, break down the ending. As they say on YouTube, ending explained, please, Moochella.
Okay, with this whole powwow at the end at the bar, everybody got to say their piece with what they came out of with therapy. And two of them came out where something's wrong with them. And two of them came out where there's nothing wrong with them. So I think it's the two that's basically talking the most, which is Sandy and Ella.
Mm-hmm. That's true. They are the two who express their feelings the most. Larry, what did you take away from this ending scene?
Nothing. I feel like it.
I'm sorry.
It's the same dynamic as it is always. It's you have. I know that what's her name went there to do her little exercise, the I feel exercise. So it was just another. Except this, so it was more selfishness. Except this time it was, therapy sanctioned selfishness. And I just think. Yeah, as far as all four of those women, we already knew that Sandy and Ella were probably the least jacked up of them. We knew that Renee's the most jacked up. We know that Whitney is also messed up, and Sandy and Ella are probably the two most stable ones. I just don't feel like they gave us anything at all new in this. It's stuff we already knew. And it's not even stuff we had to figure out and we're like, oh, yeah, I kind of thought that before, but now it's been confirmed. It was like, no, it's already was confirmed. I don't even understand why they put this episode out. It was dumb. This was a complete utter waste of money. This was horrible. No.
What you can't do, you can't come back from a break with this.
No.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going to come back from a break, you need to come back with something that's going to hit you in the gut, make you feel like you had an experience, make you feel like that wait was worth it. Literally, when they took that break, I was kind of happy because I was kind of like, yeah, it's time for a break. And I thought that, they'd be coming back with something that just really get us ready for more shows. And I feel like they didn't deliver on that. So,
you know what this should have been? This should have been a half of an episode, or they should have mixed in other parts of what was going on in their life with these therapy sessions, and and this should have been part of an episode, not an entire episode. It was almost like they pitched it as, okay, well, we're at a break, and so we're going to put this episode in there. So for people who haven't watched it yet, they can sort of just watch this and catch up and get to know the ladies in one episode and then move forward. And I'm like, but that's not how you design a show. You don't design a show so people can catch up in the middle of a season. You design a show that has continuity and let people who haven't watched it, give them incentive to go back and start it and watch it. This was garbage. I say, part of me is like, I wish I was a studio exec, because I would tell these people, you either are going to give me the good writing that I know you can give me, or your stuff is not getting on the air. I'll find somebody else. I'll go find a hungry ass writer from one of these little universities somewhere, and get them to write an episode. I'll go find a kid who's 22 years old and is just hungry and will write day and night until he gives me the best, or she gives me the best thing that they have. Because this right here was just unadulterated garbage.
Monique Johnson is saying, I thought this episode Whitney was going to tell her fiance that she slept with old boy.
I think she's going to do that in the next episode. They showed the coming attractions.
I do. Well, let's talk about that, Moochie. Go ahead and break down the coming attraction. What do we have to look forward to this Sunday? Since the Shy gone for 2 weeks.
How many episodes of that is left?
The Shy? 3.
Okay.
Hopefully it's 3 forever.
It ain't. It ain't.
The only reason why I don't want to be gone forever is because I do like the fact that black folks are getting jobs out of it. But God, that show is terrible.
That's why I'm watching it, because I want to like.
Well,
I like it because it's a black show, but I'm so mad at the writers with that show.
I'm trying to figure out what is it that everybody else is watching that's us. You know, me and Larry and Muchella, you too. You kind of we are very expanded TV watchers. You can't just sit Empire and most of Tyler Perry Productions in front of us and keep us intrigued and hooked. We're not the have-nots crew. So I'm still kind of scratching and clawing, trying to figure out what everybody else is watching, because when we do a lot of the other shows, we don't get as many. We don't get 200 people in the chat when we doing nothing but The Shy, Snowfall, which is worthy of it, Power, which is okay, kind of worthy of it. But some of the other shows we've done The Boys. That's a great damn show. We should be having 200 on that one. We did the new cartoon that's like The Boys. That's worth 200 some odd people. I've done Ray Donovan, and that's a good damn show, and it didn't get a lot of people.
I wasn't rocking with you. If I wish I would have known that, because that's my show.
That's a great show.
Because I used to watch Ray Donovan, and then at some point it felt like he jumped the shark, and I stopped watching. I think after season 3 or something like that.
I can tell you when it kind of felt like it went left. When his wife died, it kind of started feeling like. Yeah, it started feeling like it was going left when his wife died, because they tried to integrate more of the daughter into the storyline, and she just wasn't ready. She wasn't ready for all that just yet. But I mean, it was okay. It was still decent. And Hightown is a pretty good show. It's got a good foundation on it. We didn't get a lot of people watching it. P-Valley, y'all turn out for that, which you should, because P-Valley is decent. But we keep going through shows. We keep going through a bevy of great TV shows, and sometimes the audience gets to be sometime.
Does anybody watch Billions?
I've seen it before, but I haven't watched it. And I was watching Black Monday.
Billions.
Man, it's good. It's complex. Larry, we can try it one day, but I can tell you, if you watch, what's the show that come on Netflix? Not the Alps.
The Ozark.
The Ozark. If you watch Ozarks, you should be watching Billions. If you watch Scandal, you should be watching Billions. Billions is those shows, and probably a little better writing. That's for sure. Yeah. And I think they're going to do one more season of Ozarks, and we're going to review that. Stranger Things is about to come out. Definitely going to review that. I'm reviewing He-Man. So I need y'all to take this ride with me. Now, the fact that we only got 50 people in here, this show only deserves 50 people. I'm just keep that thing real. Like,
this episode, I'm not even sure if this episode even deserves that.
No,
I like Black Monday.
Yeah, Larry's always saying we need to jump on that.
We
Black
was talking
Monday.
about doing that too.
But
I've been talking about Black Monday for years, man.
I'm so far behind on that one. I feel like it's going to be hard for me to catch up on. I'm just
they're short episodes though. They're only like 20, 30-minute episodes.
I had to try to catch up on it, but I do like that one. But ladies and gentlemen, all that was said on my behalf to say, you know, I appreciate you guys that are hardcore enough to come support us for this. Just keep sharing us with people because we know good and damn well folks watching TV. Folks is watching. There are lesser YouTubers who don't put out as good a content, who definitely ain't as funny, that get way more views than what I get. And I'm just sitting here singing Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm all fussed out and I don't know why. How come I can't have some of that sweet potato pie? Is what I'm trying to figure the hell out. So we need y'all to keep pushing our products for us. And Moochie and Ralph is asking for the stock show. Ralph,
the stock show is fun for us, but people don't always show up for them.
It was. See, here's the thing, Ralph. A lot of the shows we do is fun for us so that we don't get burned out on shit like this that we're reviewing tonight. And we'd be like, you know what, the hell with you two. Because I can't lie. I started to tell y'all I'm not coming tonight. I'm breaking down.
I started to tell you that this episode was a real sleeper for me.
Me and my wife have found a signature property we want to buy in downtown Greensboro. So I've been on my computer doing my numbers, checking the rents, and my head is so into that and trying to figure out how I'm going to approach this seller because I want a deal. And I want this property for my daughter to have something as we get older, that my mind really wasn't even into the show, to be honest with you. And I thought about doing that. But Ralph, me and Larry do plan to bring back the stock show at least once a week because we like it. It doesn't get a lot of views, but this is what it has done. It has changed people's lives that watch my YouTube. Yeah. I've gotten about 10 people that hit me up to do one-on-one training who know the real estate market as well as I do now. And I've even got one guy who sent me a $500 super chat because he starts selling puts the way I do them, and he's not even working his job no more. And you're talking those videos maybe average 800 to 1,000 views at best. But me and Larry cool with that because we know we're helping people. We know we're building great legacies, not just for us, but for everybody. So we are going to pull that back and bring it back. It's just when this show goes off, we're probably going to turn Tuesdays back into stock day because it gives us a chance.
Let's do Wednesday. Let's do Wednesday on stock day. I would like to have my Tuesdays back.
Okay. Well, see, the thing is Loki's on Wednesday and Marvel's going to be doing all their shows. Marvel's going to be doing all their shows on Wednesday. So we can do it when Loki go off on Wednesday. We can do kind of the full show, just what's going on in the week show, but add the stocks. We can do the stocks as a lead off to that. Yeah. But
what's coming after Loki?
I think that's it. No, Hawkeye's coming, but he's not coming till October.
October,
October, November. So you got a long time.
And She-Hulk is not.
She-Hulk's coming next year, I think. Right?
She's next year.
Okay.
And then after that, I think 2022 you have She-Hulk and Wakanda and I think there's one other one.
They're supposed to be doing the second year of WandaVision, and Falcon Winter Soldier is getting a second year.
As it should.
And so a lot of people are saying they watch Fear the Black Quarterback, which Moochie Channel turned on everybody. If I can get my hands on that, I really want to do a review on that. I want to do that Friday, to be honest with you. So between now and Friday, since y'all already seen it, I'm going to watch it hook or crook, and you can take that for what you want it to be. Hook or crook, I'm watching it one way or the other. We're going to review that because I know that's good. I know it's good. Yeah. But that's all I got for you people. Moochie Channel, you can get us out of here by previewing what's going to happen on this show next week as we grit our teeth, rub our feet, give us something good to eat, and hope that this show go ahead and end in 9 episodes.
Well, they did show highlights of her possibly telling Ola, and she spoke to Sandy, and Sandy's telling her to tell him.
Oh Lord,
which I think is a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's a bona fide reason to tell him, like you got pregnant or got a STD or something, just you need to swallow that and live with your own guilt. Don't blow up his life because of your stupidness.
Now, wouldn't you say that right now is the time you need to be clean and upfront about everything before you get married? I think the advice that y'all are giving and that the therapist is giving is advice that you give to someone who's married, not to someone who's about to get married. But I guess you could go either way, because I know a lot of people that say if it happened before the marriage, it don't count. So
that's what Larry said with Emmett cheating.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There are a lot of people that feel like that's how it works. If it happens,
I agree, but to me, what she said was, let me get advice from a person that was in a real grown-up relationship. Because remember, she was talking to Renee, and Renee told her, you need to keep that to yourself.
Renee's
that
not
needs to go to the grave with you.
Renee and them were hiding their relationship. They weren't even public with the relationship. They got outed. They weren't in a grown-up relationship. They were in some little secret fantasy life.
You mean Sandy?
Sandy, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm like that didn't make any sense to me.
None of them are in a real relationship. One of them's getting a divorce. The other one's barely can come to terms with the fact that her dude came back for her and loves her still. And she's all goo goo gaga and they're having trouble with that. And then the last one's cheating on her man. I mean, the thing about it is when you're cheating on him, if you're gonna tell him because you feel guilty, that's just horrible. Because all you're gonna do is blow up his world. You're gonna make him feel like he can't trust you and he's always gonna doubt you. And
he might not even marry her. He might just say the hell with it.
He might not, but a lot of people
said that.
But a lot of people, especially somebody who's from a very traditional family, and everyone knows that they're supposed to get married, and they have everybody already out there, their family's already flown out and all. A lot of people feel pressured into continuing to go along with that and just to not say anything because they don't want to just blow up and embarrass themselves. They don't want to blow up and embarrass their family. And so he may know it, hear it, be upset by it, and still go through with the marriage, but the marriage at that point will then be on rocky footing, on unsolid ground. And that's what I'm saying. If you're going to still expect to go through with this marriage, then just shut up. Don't say anything. At least go into the marriage so that it can feel like you're on solid ground where he fully trusts you. You know you can trust him, and just let it be. Suck that down. I don't know how you resolve that in your mind. I don't know if you have to say this was before we got married and technically I'm married now and I've never been unfaithful to my husband. However you do that, do that.
I'm gonna tell you what a therapist told me. When you're in this situation, the only thing that buries it, doesn't get rid of it, it buries it and it becomes like a root. You're trying to keep dirt on top of the root from hitting the sunlight. The only thing that does that is time. The further away you get from the situation, the more you put dirt on top of that root so it doesn't poke through the ground. That's what a therapist said. That therapist said. Now, let me shout out Kelly Lee. Oh, my God. Kelly Lee, I always want to give you your money back because this show does not deserve you super chatting me, but I'll take it, and I'm grateful. Believe me, I'm grateful because I try to network with small YouTubers, big YouTubers. I try to, instead of having celebrities on my channel, I like my subscribers. I like my YouTubers who are trying to grow coming up here, voicing their opinions, and me and Larry getting them used to being in front of a camera. So that's what I do with these type of fun. And of course, I got the baby, and the baby loves her some Pampers and strawberries, her favorite food right now.
There you go.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get you out of here. And we probably are going to get back to the point where we're not up here on Tuesdays because YouTube serious business, man. You be needing a break, especially when you're trying to juggle other things. I'm doing stocks. I found a real estate opportunity. I found a few, to be honest with you, because the market has cooled for properties that are higher than 300,000. So it's kind of been really good looking around nowadays because a lot of these old school cats is cashing out of real estate and trying to throw their money into the market. And I like to do both. And so I've been enjoying doing a little looking around. And so we're gonna finish this show out. We're gonna grit our teeth, but stick with us. I promise the stocks are going to be coming back because, and I'll give you guys a tip right now. If some of you guys are thinking about buying tech and hyper growth, your Teslas, your Apples, your Microsofts, your Nvidias, usually on July 1st, all the way till October 1st, the market dips. There's not going to be a whole lot of earnings actions going on. People on vacation. The market either dips or it stalls. So if you've got some money, wait till this thing hit that dip. Somewhere within this next couple of months we're getting ready to go through. The market gets to cranking back up in August when school and everybody's going back to school. They're getting earnings numbers from the money that people spend on back to school. People are getting ready for the holiday season. Earnings reports come up. That's when the market's going to start going back up. So if you got some cash sitting around, sit on it for a couple of weeks, and trust me, the market is either going to take a dip or it's going to go and stall. And that's when you get in and you sit back and you count your checks after October. So
I'll tell you, man, I am serious. I know you probably will not agree with this, but I am actually considering selling my Disney and buying it back later because
you think Disney's good? I said hyper growth. I ain't say Disney.
No, I think Disney's been stalled out. It's been stalled and dropping a little bit, and I think Disney's actually going to take a bigger dip because I think following the summertime, this Delta variant has been spreading like wildfire. They're coming out with new mask mandates and recommendations, and people are shutting stuff down again. I think it's just a matter of time before we see this here in the U.S. with stuff getting shut down. They already said that the Delta variant's like 40% of new cases, and it's just they say it's like 8 times more communicable and it's getting better at avoiding the vaccine. I think it's just a matter of time before stuff starts to get shut down, or people realize, or stuff gets self shut down, where people are just like, that's cool, I'm not going to Disneyland or any place, like I'm not going to a movie theater, I'm not going to Disneyland. It's just not worth it at this time. And I think their stock is going to suffer as a consequence. And then it may pick back up later, but I think in the short term, I think it's going to suffer.
Well, what do you call a dip? So that I can make sure I understand what you call a dip.
I mean, earlier this year it was at like 190, 189, 190 is down in the 170s at this point. I think it's probably going to drop down to the low 60s.
I don't call that
160. Sorry, 160s, not 60s, the low 160s.
For me, with everything going on with the summer, because a lot of people are traveling now.
Well, Disney has got the Disney theme parks are restricted to a set number of people, and you have to wear a mask in the theme park here. But worldwide, Asia is not open, Europe is not open, and it hasn't been open worldwide for a whole year. It ain't even
I don't
been
know.
open here.
They opened Disneyland Paris, but I don't know if they closed it back down.
They closed it back down.
I know Europe is supposed to open up sometime in July, I think.
Right.
They were talking about it, but the UK just shut back down again recently. I know Australia just shut down like a couple days ago. One of my boys we became friends with on YouTube. He's in Melbourne. He told me they just shut down Melbourne again. And
well, ladies and
Mexico's
gentlemen,
struggling. There's all kinds of people out there struggling with this Delta variant, and the vaccines aren't rolling out fast enough. And they're talking about that it's becoming the predominant strain here in the U.S. and these dummies don't want to take the vaccine. Now they're talking about people who've been vaccinated are going to have to get booster shots. They said that in Israel, where like 85% of the people have been vaccinated, they said 50% of the people that have been hospitalized in the last the last month or so were breakthrough cases of people who had been vaccinated but were hospitalized with the Delta variant. It just doesn't look good, man. It doesn't look good, and I'm thinking forward with it.
And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, where the spikes in the Delta variant is at. These same damn states that just decided to cut people off unemployment are the same damn states where the Delta variant is running rampant, because those are the same damn states where people don't want to get vaccinated. And one by one, they keep going to the courts because different jobs, municipalities, school systems are saying you're not getting back in here as a as a worker unless you're vaccinated. And they keep taking it to court and losing. Like, bruh, the court, a Republican court is disagreeing with you that you can't tell these people that they can't have a rule in place to have your ass vaccinated. That ain't violating nothing. Nothing. If you send any child to public school, they have to have a certain amount of shots and vaccination unless you got your religious mess, right? And the way they track that is if you've had a history of whatever religion dating back to so many months, whatever, they go with it. But a lot of these people have been trying to pull this flim flam. Oh, I just found I'm Muslim now, and your ass is as white as the cracker bread in my kitchen, and you don't have a history of that. No, take the damn shot, get this economy open, and read the data. The data is telling you who is creating and spreading this Delta. It's you people talking about my personal freedom, this, that, and the third. You Southerners. I'm gonna just keep that thing real.
And here's the thing that's important too, Lamont, about getting these people taking the vaccine. The sooner that America can get its full population vaccinated, the sooner we can ramp up production even more and send these vaccines overseas to the countries that don't have the production capacity. You know, because there's a lot of places in the world that are struggling. They're getting doses in like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands instead of the millions. And these are places where this virus will run rampant, has run rampant. And we can't get rid of this virus throughout the world until everybody gets vaccinated. People keep thinking, oh, well, I got it here. We're in the U.S. We have it. We're good. It doesn't work that way, because if people in Vietnam or in Indonesia or in Ghana or wherever, if they don't get the vaccine, what happens is the vaccine just continues to mutate, and then we get new variants, and those variants come here and people get sick again. You know?
And maybe this will get my Republican brethren out there who are living in these Republican states. Maybe this will light a fire on their ass. If y'all keep dying off of Corona, you're just going to leave more liberal people to outvote y'all. Does that light a fire under your ass? Does that light the fire under your ass?
They lying.
Oh, well.
You won't need gerrymandering when you guys are dead.
It sure ain't. So anyway, people, we will see you guys back tomorrow for the Loki review. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, turn on the notifications, subscribe to Moochie Channel, subscribe to Larry's channel. Link is in the description. And if you want to hit me up for that one-on-one talking about stocks on one of these Thursdays, link is in the description there too. And until that next Sex is Hell video, which is tomorrow, we'll see.
Peace.